These are all the crapshoots from 2023, in case you missed them. Lomochrome sent me a roll of their new 35mm film, but this was a while back when it was still
top secret.
In fact, it was so
Top secret.
that I kind of forgot the actual name of the film. It is, of course, Lomochrome 92, the same year Pantera released my favorite album of theirs, Vulgar Display of Power. Oh, and I suppose it's also the year Lomography started. According to Lomochrome 92 is a highly versatile and deeply distinctive film, 400 ISO, color negative, developed in C41, suitable for all lighting conditions, nostalgia colors, and tons of grain. Man, I really nailed that. That was one take. Except for the fact that I didn't, because this film is actually called Lomochrome Color 92, but we've come too far, so we're gonna just pretend that I said it right those other 2 times. I tried to shoot this film in as many different scenarios as possible. Sunny days, cloudy days, studios, night stuff. Let's find out if it's more versatile than the Super Shotgun and Doom Eternal. I mean, let's face it probably isn't, because that thing is perfect and I could beat the game with probably just that. I shot some photos with my friends Nadine and Corey in Long Island City. It was pretty overcast, but then we had a nice sunset for like 30 seconds. It seems like the challenge here lately is actually shooting on sunny days because it's always cloudy here. But either way, I really love these portraits. The grain is so fun. It just gives these portraits such a nice texture. Lomochrome sent me this film in the spring, so I had to shoot some blooming flowers. This is definitely one of my favorite shots on the roll. I love how the punchiness of the sky contrasts with the pastel pinks of the leaves. This other leafy shot really exemplifies the film's grain, and I gotta say, I love it. But this last photo is definitely not bussin'. This shit is mid no cap for real. On God, this is the perfect time to start talking about my friend's band. Those Duryea boys, they are ridiculously talented. They're definitely one of the goats in the Bronx. Be sure to check them out on Spotify. The link is in the description below. I took a portrait of each of the fellas, and overall, I love the mood of these shots. The grain is nice, the bloom from the lights, it's all working for me. It's got a very 70s vibe, in my opinion. I snapped Seth mid-song, and I love the pose. You got the headstock of the bass going out of focus. It's pretty rad. Same deal with Danny. He's in his element, he's in motion, and I love it. Hey, Danny, if you're watching this video, hi. Gannon was packing up when I took his portrait. This one feels pretty candid and fun, but I wish I would have gotten in a little closer because there is just way too much headroom going on in this photo. And last but certainly not least, we have the man himself, Brian Duryea. Of course, he is the singer of the band, and I completely scuffed his photo. I don't know what happened here. It was probably the shutter speed, but let's just lie and say it was like a violent earthquake that occurred only when I took the photo, and no one talked about it after the fact because it was simply localized to under my feet specifically. On the same day, I shot 2 photos of the Tappan Zee Bridge, the city kind of poking in there. Lately, I've been a fan of composing landscape shots with a ton of sky in them. I don't really have a reason for doing it other than it looks kind of cool. I shot through the rest of the roll very casually and very slowly. I usually don't keep rolls on my cameras for months at a time, but this one was a little bit different. Speaking of, this is an awesome time to mention that I've been shooting all these photos with my friend's Nikon FM. Thanks, Heather, for letting me borrow it. I never really used this camera before, and I gotta say I love it. The build quality is outstanding. I love the locking shutter advance lever, but I will say I am not used to focusing on this camera in the same way I am with my Pentax or my Mamiya. I hung out with one of my best friends while shooting this roll and took his portrait. The focus is definitely softer than I'd like, though. Funny story behind this photo. I shot this after he explained to me that he saw this thing online saying best friends don't have photos of each other on their phones. We took a photo together after that, just to rectify the problem. While I was shooting this roll, the stars aligned, and I actually got a chance to hang out with my friend Knobtop, who's also on YouTube. We had just enough time to grab a coffee at my favorite spot, Grounds. You guys know that if you follow the channel. And I shot this portrait of him outside of the shop, and I gotta say, I love this shot so much. Look at that handsome boy. Then we shot some photos in the parking lot of a movie theater. It was very exciting stuff.
What the hell is even that?
I ended up shooting some night stuff without a release cable or a timer, so I kind of just sat there holding the shutter, you know, like a buffoon. I haven't the slightest clue as to where my release cable went, but hey, I got some slappers. I really like how the grain looks at night, and the little bit of halation spritzed in there Ooh.
Very cool.
Of course, I did my duty and I shot the obligatory gas station photo on this roll as well. Jokes aside though, I want to extend a very special thank you to Lomography. For years now, they've been amazingly generous and supportive of my channel and my work. And when I dive into the archives, it really does feel like shooting that first roll of Lomochrome Purple changed the direction of this channel. Nowadays, I shoot so much film, I develop and scan everything myself, and I've grown a ton over the last few years. Sorta, I mean, you still can't say the word around me because I'll laugh, and I don't think that's ever gonna change. But the point is, Lomography will always have a special place in my heart. I really enjoyed shooting Lomochrome Color 92. Out of all of Lomography's recent releases, this is likely my favorite. It feels like the least niche and the most practical. Their purple, turquoise, and even Metropolis films are all pretty situational in my opinion, but 92 is genuinely versatile. It's not Doom Eternal Super Shotgun versatile because nothing in this world is, but I would shoot this film in so many scenarios. Certain colors really pop. The greens and blues look awesome. In the right light, the reds and pinks look excellent too. As of now, it looks like it's only available in 35mm, but 120 and 110 film will be joining the party fashionably late. Well, my precious little eggies, I hope you enjoyed the video. Go pick up a roll of this, shoot it, and show me what you did. Join the Discord or hit me up on Instagram. I'll catch you in the next one. Alright, bye. Brooklyn Film Camera recently got me. They sent me an email saying they had this old, ugly-ass expired film, and I was like,
Son of a bitch, took you this long to tell me? Break it out, man!
It is time for a crapshoot, my precious little eggies. The film is called Seagull Color IR 100. Must be Gulliver's favorite film. It's a Chinese 35mm film from the 90s. And according to Brooklyn Film Camera, the IR does not stand for infrared. It probably stands for irritated reptiles. And I gotta tell you, it looks borderline apocalyptic. Based on how old the film is and maybe how it was stored, everything seems to turn yellow and brown and very smoky looking. And in my experience, some of the shots look like they have a rash.
Ew.
But hey, for less than $5, sometimes you get a rash. This conversation is repugnant. Let's change the subject. I shot 2 rolls, so let's check them out.
Check it out.
The first was more of a test roll. I didn't necessarily have a theme in mind or anything like that. Just get a look at how cool these are. Very classy and rusty. I don't like that very much. I almost didn't want to put it in my camera. They have a very interesting odor to them. According to Brooklyn Film Camera, this film performs the best when you overexpose by 2 stops. So that's exactly what I did. I set my ISO to 25. All I really had to go by were the sample images on Brooklyn Film Camera's website, so I was very much winging it, which is perfect since this is a crapshoot.
He said it! He said it!
I took my first view by the Tappan Zee Bridge. Then I went to the Bronx. I was mainly aiming for scenes with a range of colors. I was also hunting for texture. All this in my pursuit for radioactive, say it with me now,
Tones.
Then I went over to Ferry Point Park. I love this view of Manhattan from the Bronx. In my experience, underexposing leads to more orange in the highlights and more green in the shadows. It's a pretty unique look. I think I prefer the dehydrated piss yellow though. This film almost reminds me of the Mexico scenes from Breaking Bad, a way more yellow and intense version. Actually, when I was grabbing that clip for this video, maybe it's not that much more intense of a color grade than Breaking Bad had. All Breaking Bad really needed was the rash, and then we could say that it was shot on Seagull color film. Considering this was a test roll, I definitely got more than a few keepers, but these 3 are my favorites from the roll. I love the little pedals on the metal thing, bars, and that was just the parking lot near my apartment. This house in the Bronx just made me think of the American football house, so I didn't really have a choice with that photo now, did I? And last but not least, this sunset in Long Island City. We had an otherwise overcast day there, but we got this split second of glorious sunset. I am very happy about how that shot came out. I finished the rest of the roll in Long Island City while I was hanging out with a few friends. Coincidentally, New York City would look like this shortly after I shot this roll because of the Canadian wildfires, which is a brilliant segue into the second roll. I decided to shoot the second roll in Connecticut during the hazy Canadian wildfire arc. I was inspired by my friends who live in New York City sharing their crazy Blade Runner looking photos. And while it was nowhere near as yellow in Connecticut, we still had a ton of haze. I figured this film would be perfect to document the conditions. These few shots in my apartment were honestly not far off from reality. The sun was really orange. I went to the parking lot of the local mall and I shot a handful of photos there as well. I really love this shot looking through the window. This was taken in the smelly stairway of the parking garage. It almost makes me think of a radioactive version of the Last of Us menu. The wider shots really conveyed the haziness in the area, especially these eerie sun shots. I liked the photos, but I was not a fan of seeing that in real life. I was kind of obsessed with these crows and getting a decent shot of them congregating around this streetlight, so I took a few.
You should see the f***ed up ways they like to crack nuts.
I was happy with this roll too. The standouts in my opinion are from the mall. They're all uniquely uncomfy in their own way. The amount of haze in this shot is really unsettling for me. How unnatural the sun looks in this shot is also very strange. And the window shot just makes me feel things. One thing I need to mention is the darkroom portion of these rolls. These are meant to be developed in C41 chemistry. If you follow my channel, you probably know that I develop all my film at home. I have a video about it, blah, 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 blah. Not sure if it's the age of the film or what, but these negatives came out really thin. They're also this weird kind of blue, green, turquoise. I don't know, it's kind of interesting to see negatives look like this. But they have a weird like grittiness to them. The backside of the negative is textured and it's kind of disgusting, honestly. And even though they've been washed and it's been a couple weeks, they still kind of smell a little bit. They are extremely bendy. It was kind of a pain in the ass to scan these, honestly. And speaking of, the scanning process was interesting. Typically I scan my negatives as positives and I color them in Negative Lab Pro, but it felt like my V550 didn't know what to make of these. It had no clue what was going on. If you watched my live stream, you probably saw how jacked up the positives were. I ended up rescanning them as negatives and let the Epson scan software take the wheel. It honestly did a fine job and my photos look like the sample images from Brooklyn Film Camera, so I guess I did something right in the process. I did make some minor adjustments in Lightroom, but nothing too intense. Overall, Seagull color is very unique looking, rational. I don't find it particularly practical. You definitely wouldn't want to be shooting someone's wedding with this film, but for $5 it's a fun little experiment, especially when Portra 800 is fucking $18 per roll. It's definitely not for everybody, but it's kind of fun if you go in knowing the look of the film and with some sort of vision. But what do you guys think of Seagull color? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye. Hello there, my precious little eggies. You ready for this one? Kodak Gold, but big. Yes, that is correct. I shot 2 rolls of Kodak Gold in 120. Last year. I know, this video is really timely, considering the film was released like a year ago, and you can actually tell because if you're a Sweet Lou photography historian, this video was filmed around the time I closed my pinky in my car door and completely decimated my fingernail. Good times, good times. Anyway, you ever shoot a roll of photos and when you look at the negatives, you realize, wow, these are almost all keepers?
No.
It is an uncommon phenomenon for me, and when it does happen, I praise the photo gods.
Lord bless the toads!
Had to go in my kitchen to yell that. But not to toot my own horn here. Oh, what the hell, toot. This roll kind of fucks. These are mostly keepers in my book. These fine fellas are none other than my friend Corey's band Girl Scout Cookies. Here is Corey describing his band.
When people ask me the genre of Girl Scout Cookies, I tell them melodic, hardcore pop, skater, punk with a touch of indie fusion. with bass. Simple.
They've released a new album today, very exciting stuff, it rocks. Go check it out on Spotify after you watch this video. The link is in the description below. This, of course, is not a sponsored video. I am not sponsored by Big Girl Scout cookies. We're not going for like a death metal sort of look here, so I wanted to get the band being a little goofy and having fun. I really wanted to try and capture their personalities in these photos because in my experience with them, they're always laughing and they're always having a good time together. But did I manage to do all that?
You bet your sweet Bippy I did.
I really wanted these photos to have an airy, summery sort of vibe since the album was meant to be a summer release. Hey, we didn't say which summer, you know? This photo definitely looks a little familiar. Pretty cool.
That was some National Geographic shit.
To get a little nerdy here for a second, Kodak Gold 200 is a medium speed, daylight balanced, color negative film, offering a versatile combination of vivid color saturation, fine grain, and high image sharpness. And while these were my first rolls of Gold in 120, they are far from the first time I've shot with this film. I've shot plenty of Kodak Gold in 35mm, so this may not be the truest crapshoot in the history of the series, but I won't tell anyone if you won't. I actually really like Kodak Gold in 35mm. I love the punchiness and the saturation of the photos you get with it. I also really love the fact that it's cheaper than Portra 400, which is like $6,000 a roll right now when it's actually in stock. Jokes aside, I think Kodak Gold was the perfect choice for this shoot. The saturation really works for this set. I love these portraits by the tree. These might be some of my favorite portraits I've ever taken. I shot all these photos on my beloved Mamiya 645. And that, my precious little eggies, is the first roll, along with these two shots I took at a gas station. Come on, you gotta have some gas station photos in there somewhere. We started the second roll off a bit sillier than the first. I am so excited to introduce Coney.
Is that the bad guy from the Star Wars?
I am sure that traffic cone smelled incredible. I definitely backlit the second Coney shot a little too much. It's not exactly a keeper in my book, but hey, it happens. We shot quite a few photos by this fence. I can't really explain why, but this composition was calling my name. It felt really album covery to me. I definitely prefer the wider shot though. Seeing those angled shadows and the negative space on top, it's definitely working for me. Side note, upon reviewing these photos for this video, I didn't look at them for a little bit, this setup made me think of that scene from Bocce the Rock. Huh? It was when the band was trying to take a photo and the drummer mentions the fact that guitar players and bassists look really cool when they're holding their instruments, but the drummers just have to hold their sticks and look stupid. I don't know, that one just got me. But that idea must have been running through my mind because...
You want to do one of that without the instruments, actually?
Yeah. Good job, Paslu. I don't even remember saying that. After those fence shots, I decided
I'm gonna do what's called a pro gamer move.
And I flipped the script. This time I dirtied the foreground by shooting through the fence and I grabbed solo portraits of each of the fellas. Then we shot a couple of silly ones on these stairs. Then I finished up the roll with a few random snapshots. These photos are far from the only rolls of Kodak Gold I've shot through my Mamiya 645. The bottom line is I absolutely love this film. You are doing yourself a disservice if you haven't tried it out yet. It's been a year, so you probably have, but if you haven't, there's your reminder. The colors are unreal, they're saturated, they're punchy, and they're just fun. Well, wait. There's more! It's cheaper than Portra. I'm really struggling to find a downside here. I am super happy with these two rolls of film. These are definitely some of my favorite portraits I've ever taken, and I'm really happy that I got to collaborate with my friend's band. Speaking of, make sure you go show Girl Scout Cookies some love. Corey is an awesome friend of mine, and he's helped out with a ton of videos on this channel. He's been behind the camera on a bunch of them. So thank you so much for watching, my precious little eggies, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye. I recently moved and found something beautiful. 5 packs of Polaroid Spectra. The old place decided to increase rent by over $400 per month.
We did it because we thought it would be funny to do.
But that's not your problem. I just felt like sharing. What is your problem? Problem? I don't think that's the right word. What is relevant to you is that I completely forgore about this Spectra film. I thought I shot my last box with Knob Top. Turns out I lied to him. It wasn't my fault, Dave. I'm sorry. There he is.
Knob Top, go make something.
The packs of film are old. They are expired. They have not been stored well.
Sorry.
But hey, people who've been keeping up with the channel for a long time probably prefer me not storing them properly versus storing them inside a toaster. That was on. For science, of course.
Yes, science!
So join me, my precious little eggies, on a marvelous crapshoot. The end of an era. The last of my Polaroid Spectra film. Do I expect any of these photos to come out?
Nah, man, I can't say as I have high fucking hopes where that's concerned.
But regardless, it's time. These packs of film are not getting any less expired.
Ah, fuck it, dude. Let's go
Shoot Polaroids.
Plus, you guys voted on it, so I kinda had to. I shot all 5 of these packs of film in Newport, Rhode Island. As I do with every good Polaroid shoot, I clean my rollers and I said a quick prayer. Heavenly Father, purveyor of tones, deliver us from opacification, failure, and color shifts. And hey, do your boy a favor and let this shit work. Okay, and we're all set now. The first stop was the Cliff Walk. The Cliff Walk in Rhode Island goes behind all the famous historic mansions. It's a pretty leisurely walk despite having some areas listed as strenuous. The strenuous area is where it's slightly unpaved and has a staircase. I don't know, man, the Narrows in Utah, better watch out. The weather was pleasant. I shot several color photos along the way. Typically when I shoot Polaroid, I compose, I shoot the photo, and I drop it right back into the box, shielded from light. You know how it is. I had no idea if any of the photos were working right, but I did say my prayer, so surely they will. And good news, actually. They came out. Well, some of them did, and most of them had really fucked up colors. But it's about the journey, so don't stop watching this video or I'm gonna break out the toaster. Plus, I shot some of these on my real camera. Oh my god, okay, that didn't come out right. You know, I realize some of you might be saying to yourself, Polaroid Spectra.
What the hell is even that?
Spectra film is a wider Polaroid format that I stumbled upon when I was first creating the CRAPSHOOT series. Fun fact, if you dumpster dive the playlist, you'll actually find that my first time shooting Polaroid Spectra was in fact the very first CRAPSHOOT video I ever made back in 2019. Spectra goes all the way back to 1986. According to Polaroid, it was an important part of their offering. They killed Spectra film back in 2019. I made my video in July, they killed Spectra in October. Am I single-handedly responsible for the death of Spectra? Yes, probably. After going through the creepy dark tunnel, I saw a nice little hobbit hole in the distance. I would have absolutely loved to take a photo of it, but wouldn't you know, the last frame got stuck and wouldn't eject.
Well, shit.
I tried taking the shot 2 more times to get the friggin' thing to eject. See, Spectra film used to be packs of 10 shots, but during the revival era, Polaroid was releasing packs of 8. So the camera actually thought I had 2 shots remaining, but it didn't matter because it didn't work anyway. I did learn that this camera makes a fun little sound when it's out of film though. That's kind of cool, I guess. I loaded up a pack of black and white film, and this is where things took a turn. Oh, did you think I meant an improvement? Oh, no, no, no. This pack of black and white was an unmitigated disaster. It was majestically fucked up. Call me newfound glory, because it's all downhill from here. The chemistry just wasn't working out for this role, although I will say towards the end of it, it looked like some of those photos wanted to come out, but they didn't. Well, you know what they say.
So tired of this.
Into the 1200 SI goes yet another pack of black and white Spectra film. Noteworthy though, as this is in fact my last pack of black and white. Let's hope for the best on this one. At this point, we were just walking through Newport seeing the sights. I really love the pattern of colors on this building. Good thing I was shooting black and white. An even better thing, it didn't come out at night. It's fine, I was expecting this. I was expecting this to happen. It's fine, it's totally fine. In all seriousness, after the first couple of shots, they started to partially develop. They were splotchy, but they looked kind of cool. I understand that sounds like a historically big coat, but come on now, check out Wally's wieners.
Here you go, Racky. I know how much you like wieners.
I should have gone a bit wider on this. I really don't like how little headroom the building has. Usually I only think of headroom for people. It's kind of funny when you're talking about a building. Still like the shot though. I took another wiener shot with my Mamiya using Cat Lab's X film. This was before the whole cine still drama went down, completely unintentional and weird timing. You can watch my video about that situation after this one. I was really into the colors I got out of that roll though. Very pastel. It sort of reminded me of that one roll of Agfa Vista I shot back in the day on this channel, I think. I don't remember if I made that video or not. On this little pier thing, I saw a dude driving a boat, and he was so hyped that I was shooting Polaroid. He shouted from his boat, "Oh my god, is that a Polaroid? That is so cool!" I didn't have the heart to tell him that I had a bag full of duds and also a YouTube channel where lately all I've been doing is saying how unreliable the Polaroid experience is. So I just said, "Yeah, thanks." Then I shot this Polaroid of his boat sailing away. It was a cool experience. And on the off chance that you ever see this video, hi, thanks. I really love the look of this storefront, but unfortunately this shot did not turn out. With one black and white shot left, we went to go catch sunset at Beaver Tail State Park. It's a beautiful location with a lighthouse. I actually shot my friend's engagement photos here earlier in the summer. Coincidentally, I got a real banger Polaroid here using my Now Plus. If you watch my live streams, this is also where the legendary bird up photo happened. If you know, you know. I fired off my very last black and white photo. Yep, and well, there it is, the end of an era.
Wow, what a waste.
Then I loaded up some color film, hoping to pursue those glorious golden hour tones. But going with the running theme of this video, you know, things not exactly going according to plan, it surely was not the epic views I had in mind.
The weather had just changed into bullshit.
These are the views I was expecting based on the last time I was there, but instead it was just a wall of clouds. I'm being just a little over dramatic here, the views were still really nice. The color Spectra film generally performed better than the black and white, despite the partially developed frames and the severe color shifts to blue. It's interesting to me considering the way I-type and 600 films work. In my experience, usually the black and white films are much more reliable than the color. But whatever's going on in Spectra land, it's all reversed. I took 2 shots of these dudes fishing. The second was only because there was a boat passing through and I liked the composition of it between the 2 guys. And it worked out since the first shot was so jacked up. I shot 2 more of the lighthouse and then I called it quits. I was really hoping to showcase the moon in there, but no such luck. I did shoot a couple on my Fuji though, and I'm quite happy with how they turned out. On the next day, I started off strong with a selfie in the hotel mirror. I was actually surprised by the exposure. I was right next to the window, but it was pretty overcast outside. I didn't think I had enough light without the flash, but I suppose I did. We got lunch, and I took this true snapshot looking out of the rainy window in the restaurant. This might be my least favorite shot of the trip.
I don't know why I did it.
Then we went back home, finishing out the roll with a few local shots. Like all truly great videos on this channel, Grounds had to make an appearance. I shot another mirror selfie at home, and shocker, it absolutely did not develop properly. But upon retrospect, I'm also prompted to wonder, what the fuck was I aiming at? I need to really channel my Doom Eternal aim into my photography. What the hell was that? And last but not least, this sunflower. I kind of like the bouquet. Well, my precious little eggies, thanks again for joining me on the journey.
Come on, really?
So that's it.
Yep, unfortunately, that is the end. It's truly the end of an era. Spectra, I feel like I barely knew you. I really love the format and I wish I had more time to mess with it. Also, I really wish I had room in the fridge to store this properly over these couple years, but I've been saying this one to myself constantly lately. It is what it is. Thank you so much for watching. I have plenty more Polaroid videos on this channel for you to binge, but probably not too many more on the way. Stay tuned for more moderately okay videos about creating stuff. All right, bye.
Like and subscribe. Sweet Little Photography. Domain.